Hello everybody and welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day as a Fat Person video. Much like in the last video, it would be really cool if you guys could kind of guess what we think is going to be shown in these clips. I thought that was really fun. And just as something different, at the end of this video I'm going to show you what I eat in a day, just as some transparency as someone who judges other people. So anyway, we're going to get straight into it and see what this young lady has today.
What I eat in a day as a fat person who's not interested in weight loss. Toast with crunchy peanut butter and jam.
So there's nothing actually inherently wrong with peanut butter and jam, and it is only one slice of toast, which is kind of good, but also it's a lot of peanut butter and it is a lot of jam. So this is a lot of sugar, so which is not the best thing, and because obviously jam is full of sugar, but it's not horrendous either, to be honest. And the protein is in the peanut butter. It's not the best source of protein, but it is a source of protein. To improve, you could have maybe some boiled eggs on the side or some fruit. That would be quite tasty, and it would be nice to have some fresh fruit alongside the jam, because obviously jam is fruit. But yeah, it's not that bad, and it isn't too much either. Yes, it is a lot of peanut butter and a lot of jam, but it is only on one slice of bread, so it can't be as excessive as it could have been. But yeah, it's not too bad.
Crunchy peanut butter and jam.
Probably 400 calories though, 300.
French vanilla cold brew.
It's not the most egregious coffee we've ever seen. Obviously I don't know what the information on this creamer, but it's not actually that bad, to be fair to her, so that's good. And just so you're aware, I've muted the music in the background, which is why it seems a bit quiet.
Anxiety med.
Very strange to add medication into a What I Eat in a Day video. That is really bizarre. I don't know why you would do that. It's not food.
Water. Kiwi.
Nice. Looks good.
More water.
I think it's weird that she puts the tablet and the kiwi on her tongue.
Bologna
like
sandwich.
I don't know what bologna is, but that looks incredibly like ultra processed meat. I do wonder what kind of meat it is. I genuinely have no idea. I'm not just being a dunce for no reason. But it also had quite a lot of mayo in it by the first shot of it. Like, look how much mayo is in that. That's a lot. And I imagine this down here is another sauce, maybe something like mustard, maybe, I have no idea. But that is a lot of processed meat with a lot of sauces on it, on bread. So I don't know, it's not great, and this isn't going to keep her full at all, because the carbs in the bread are going to make her hungry again, even though it is kind of whole grain and seeded, so that is much better than like white bread. But the protein in this bologna isn't going to be that good, so I don't think she's going to be full from this. And she's had this at 1:45, so this is her lunch, obviously. But it could just be made better by having some like veggies in the sandwich. You can still keep the bologna, maybe reduce the amount of sauces, but as I said, add some veggies and then have some fruit or something on the side. It would just make her feel more satiated. Even add an egg in there, that would be nice as well.
Bologna sandwich. Smoothie.
Looks really good. Really, really good.
Cottage pie.
Cottage pie is actually quite nice. Yeah, and you can see it's got a lot of veggies in here as well, so that's really, really good as well. The only thing that I would wonder would be how they prepared the mash for the cottage pie, because when I make pies like this, I tend to just mash up the potatoes, maybe add some like salt and pepper or something into the potato. But I wouldn't add butter or cream, but I see a lot of people do that. So you can make mash and it'd be perfectly healthy. It's just a potato. But you can also add hundreds of calories if you're not careful by the addition of butter and creams and milks and stuff. But overall, that looks really, really good. Can't really complain about that at all.
No baby pill.
That's very weird in my opinion. As I said earlier, I don't think it's... I find it strange that you'd film taking medication, and I find putting the tablet on the tongue like that is just really strange. It feels a bit icky to me. I don't know why. I don't like it.
Bye-bye BBs.
Like, why do we need to know her contraceptive choice? That's odd. Anyway, moving on. So we're going to see what this lady is doing now.
Here is what I eat in a day as a happy fat woman while I've been traveling.
I'm not gonna lie, I find the ones that say as like happy fat woman or a fat woman who doesn't want to lose weight, I always find those ones are the most egregious diets, and that sounds quite judgmental, and I suppose it is. But and the fact that it's travel as well, I imagine it's going to be takeout, snacks, takeout, or something along those lines, because that's what they do when they travel. They don't cook anything at home and just take it with them. It's very strange.
I've been on about a 3.5-week work trip with my husband, and so first things first, we have hotel breakfast. I always bring food from home, one for food waste, so I don't throw it out, and also so I have something delicious. So we've
fair enough.
got eggs with cheese that I brought, some potatoes, cream cheese toast, and a little muffin. I also had some.
The mango's really good, and that's a decent amount of mango as well. I would probably avoid the muffin. You don't need a breakfast dessert. The toast is good. It's quite a lot of cream cheese, but okay, it's not that bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. And then the potatoes with, I think she said scrambled eggs and cheese. She didn't really show how much cheese she had. I imagine it was quite a lot. But, I mean, if you're in a hotel, I mean, there is not that many options, but every single hotel that I've ever stayed in have offered fruit at breakfast and yogurts and porridge and stuff like that. So that would have been a better choice than potatoes. The eggs can stay, of course. Eggs are delicious and the best thing in the world, in my opinion. But maybe have half of this portion of potatoes, because you can see the potatoes are under the egg as well. Have half the portion of potatoes and have an apple or an orange, or like some beans or some sausages or something like that alongside it, if that was available. Even 2 or 3 yogurts, if you like yogurt. There's nothing wrong with yogurt. Yogurt's delicious. Ideally, get one that's not ultra processed and full of sugar. If you can go for like Greek yogurt or something like that, it's much better for you. But you could even get a plain yogurt and add in a little bit of jam or a tiny little bit of honey. That would be quite nice. I do that quite regularly. But it's also very beige. Do you notice? Beige. And the eggs are the only bit of colour, and the cheese. But yeah, it's not the best.
Potatoes, cream cheese toast, and a little muffin.
But then this does kind of bring it up and elevates it, because mango is really, really good.
Also had some mango. You can tell how old this is because of the Love Island. Not food related. We went to leave our hotel and I found a flat tire. Oof. It was an easy fix.
Snacks, which you don't need. That was a really big breakfast. So obviously I don't know how long it was between breakfast and this, but have fruit instead. If you're traveling, you're going to feel sick if you're eating trash.
But it was a shock. Celebrated with some cheese.
Celebrated with some Cheetos? Why would you celebrate with something that's going to do absolutely nothing for you except damage your health? That's so silly, and you don't need to celebrate with food. Food doesn't need to be that for you. It doesn't have to be like a reward system. And I think a lot of people fall into that trap of rewarding themselves with food. There's that phrase like, you don't have to reward yourself with food because you're not a dog. And I think that is quite aggressive, but at the same time, the principle behind it is correct. Like, yeah, you don't need to reward yourself with food. Of course, for things like if you're going out to a restaurant for a meal, I think that's slightly different. If you've achieved something really good, like when you've graduated, if you want to go out to have a meal, obviously there's nothing wrong with that at all. But to complete a life task, that just has to be done. Your car gets a flat tire and you get the tire fixed. You don't need to celebrate that because it's just something that you just had to do. It's just a normal life task. It's like celebrating that you brush your teeth in the morning. I don't know. I think, I find it a bit strange that you would do that.
Cheetos, and honestly, the crunchy ones are a hot second favorite.
Another one that likes to eat when driving.
Snack. Cheez-Its are first, obviously. Today we were driving from Pennsylvania through Ohio to make it to Indiana. At the little rest stop at the stretch, and I got some things out of our cooler bag. I got a little
ultra processed cheese and an unnecessarily processed sandwich. I don't know much about these other than that it's a peanut butter and strawberry jam sandwich that is cut in this shape. I imagine they are marketed towards children because of the shape and the fact that they've got no crusts. I could be wrong. We don't have them here. I've never seen them. But it's not hard to make a sandwich. I know she said she's been travelling with her husband for 3.5 weeks. But if you're travelling and you've been out of the house for 3.5 weeks, you have passed grocery stores, you've passed supermarkets. You can go in there, and if you like sandwiches, you can get a loaf of bread. You can bring a jar of peanut butter and some jam, and you could make sandwiches yourself. Or you could even have a little cooler of veggies or fruit in the car. You can have roast chicken. You can buy cooked chicken from the shop and have some bread and make a chicken sandwich with some salad. There are so many options available, even if you are on the road for a very long time. And she was in a hotel in the morning. You could have taken your supplies into the hotel and made the sandwiches there, packed them up and taken them with you. Therefore, you don't need to eat an Uncrustables. That's going to be like, what, 200 calories? For nothing. This is tiny. I wouldn't be happy with this. That wouldn't fill me up. And ultra processed cheese. I don't know if Americans have a different view on cheese to us in like the UK and Europe, but we have a really big cheese culture. We love cheese, and we have some really, really decent cheeses. I imagine it is exactly the same for you guys because we're very, very similar. But this is not cheese. This is plastic. Don't eat stuff like this. Don't eat stuff like this. Eat real cheese if you like cheese. It's really, really tasty. But yeah, this just isn't it, really.
And a cheese stick. Now, I grew up on just getting whatever was the cheapest option, but now as an adult, name brand is important. These Uncrustables are delicious.
That looks really sad. Look how stodgy that bread is. It just looks like that's going to sit so heavy in the stomach. As I said, I've never had an Uncrustable. Please let me know down in the comments if they're actually worth eating. But that just isn't it for me. It looks really sad, and I understand buying the cheapest option growing up, obviously, like we've all been there. But name brands of white bread with some probably super cheap jam and super cheap peanut butter. I mean, really? I don't think that makes any difference whatsoever. I think you could buy the cheapest bread, the cheapest peanut butter, and the cheapest jam, and still make a better sandwich than that, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, please let me know. I'm happy to have that discussion. But yeah,
I had plenty of off-brand Uncrustables. Made it to Indiana and found this local pub. We got the spin dip, which was...
Not gonna lie, that does look quite tasty. But that also looks like a calorie bomb. Look how creamy it is. As I said, looks delicious. But this is also a lot of chips. And I imagine they're going to go through all of them. And yeah, really good. But again, it's restaurant food. You don't know how they're cooking it. You don't know how many calories are in it. It's probably very, very high in calories because they probably use cream and butter and fats because it's delicious. So yeah,
it's burnt.
Especially after a day of not eating very well, it's not the best option to then go out. But
it wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. And then I got a cow.
It's on par with what a lot of them do. Look, see. Look, they ate all of it, and there's only 2 of them, I think. So between her and her husband, they ate this entire dish, and they did leave some chips, so I was wrong there, but they ate all of this. And this was probably cream, butter, oil, and a little bit of spinach. That's nuts. That's probably 600 calories each, I would guess, depending on how they made it. Maybe less, maybe more. But that's insane as a starter. That's so heavy. And this calzone is enormous. My understanding of a calzone is that it's a pizza folded in half. It's huge. It is bigger than this plate. If you like opened it up as a pizza, it would be bigger than the plate. That's crazy. And I wonder what's inside it. I reckon just cheese and maybe pepperoni.
An ungodly sized calzone, a veggie calzone that actually I ate about half of, surprisingly. I was hungry, but I also had some fries. And that's what I ate in a day.
That's insane. It was just beige and takeout and, well, beige, ultra processed, fast, and then restaurant food. That's nuts. It's typical.
Because the fat phobes loved the last one, this is another what I eat in a day. As a fat person, eating whatever the hell I want. I started my morning with...
I'm going to isolate the sound on this one to get rid of that music. One moment.
The hell I want. I started my morning with some iced coffee and creamer.
There's another one with an egregious coffee. the colour of it is not really coffee. It looks more like creamer with a splash of coffee rather than coffee with a splash of creamer. But it's very on brand for these people, so we shouldn't be surprised.
I started my morning with some iced coffee and creamer. For breakfast, I had hash browns and some French toast with top.
Hash browns with French toast. I wonder how many pieces of bread this was. It looks like 2, but the amount of sugar on it is crazy. You do not need that much sugar for French toast. That's absolutely astronomical. Like, look how much sugar is on this one piece of bread. Right there. Like, does that not make you feel sick when you eat it? Because that would make me feel sick. You may as well just eat the sugar out of the packet with a spoon, because that's almost exactly what you're doing. That's probably, if we added it all up, because you can see the sugar here and there. Look at this. That's what, 3 tablespoons of sugar, like straight sugar. Look at all this here as well. You can't taste food if you cover it in sugar. It's the same way you can't taste food if you absolutely smother it in salt. It defeats the purpose of the food. And French toast is kind of like eggs with milk on bread. So it's so frustrating to see them eat this. And I know it doesn't affect me, but it's just so almost greedy, to be honest. And then the hash browns, there's nothing really much to say about hash browns. Fried potatoes, so
Hash browns
beige.
And some French toast with topped with cinnamon sugar. For lunch, I made myself a panini that had bacon, ranch, turkey, and some cheese on it.
There are worse sandwiches, but again, another one that doesn't have any veggies or lettuce or tomatoes or anything in the sandwich. You can keep all of these elements, but add some veggies, and it still would make such a big difference, because you would be so much more full after eating it. If she added, say, sliced tomatoes with some lettuce, diced onions, even gherkins if she likes gherkins, even sliced carrots. I enjoy having sliced carrots in sandwiches. When I have sandwiches, stuff like that. You could make this sandwich thick and chunky. It would really fill up your stomach. And you would still get to have the cheese, you could still have the ham, and then have the yogurt and this really burnt bacon. And you would just feel much better for it. You don't have to get rid of the taste. You can actually enhance the taste, enhance what you're eating, and still enjoy it. But also give your body a bit of a break, and give it something that is good for it. I don't know. It's just the insistence on no veggies is crazy.
And some cheese on it. Super delicious.
Okay.
There's also a side of applesauce. For a snack, I had a bagel and
What did you say?
peanut butter.
Oh, bagel and peanut butter. That's peanut butter? Why is it brown? That looks like chocolate spread. But again, peanut butter is one of those things that is delicious. It's a really good source of fats, good source of, well, it's a source of protein. But it is so calorically dense, it's crazy. It wouldn't surprise me if this was probably 3 servings of peanut butter. As I said, it does look like chocolate spread, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was 3 servings, which is very, very high in calories, especially when you add it onto something like a bagel. And this is a snack. It's nuts. A bagel is a meal when you put stuff in it. But beige.
Applesauce. For a snack, I had a big.
More beige. This bacon looks intriguing, and this is a lot of pancakes, and you can see the syrup here all over this bit there. More syrup pooling down here. Sugar and sugar and sugar.
Bagel and peanut butter. For dinner, I did breakfast again with bacon and pancakes with.
And that was dinner. Wow. More sugar. So she's had sugar for breakfast. Yeah, she had a pack of sugar for breakfast. Then she had a very sad looking sandwich. She had probably sugar for her snack. And then she's had sugar again for dinner.
For dinner, I did breakfast again with bacon and pancakes with a little bit of syrup. I had an ice cream cup.
And more sugar in the ice cream.
And then I got a late night snack of Taco Bell because.
Taco Bell is a late night snack. Taco Bell is not a snack, it's a meal. It's a poor meal as well, but it's a meal, it's not a snack. That's nuts. She either went out of her way, she left the house, was ready, left the house and went to Taco Bell to get this, or she ordered it in. Either way, it's expensive, it's unnecessary. If you eat proper food, you won't be hungry enough to warrant going to Taco Bell in the middle of the night. That's ridiculous, and this is why you don't have sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar all day, because you end up doing stuff like this. And look at it. First of all, it's takeout, so it's not going to be any good for you. But you can see the cheese, so the fats, all over it. Is it got a single vegetable in it? Let's see.
I can.
No. So yeah, that is what happens when you have sugar all day. You crave stuff at the end of the day because your body just wants more and more and more because of your sugar crashes and then sugar highs and then more crashes and then highs because you're constantly messing around with your blood sugar levels. You end up doing that. So if you had had a proper dinner after a proper lunch and a normal breakfast, she probably wouldn't have felt the need to have Taco Bell in the middle of the night.
Is what I eat in a day as a fat Latina pescatarian. It's mostly vegetarian, but let's just get
That's a humongous taco.
into it. For breakfast, yes, I said breakfast. I am having a veggie gyro. I think it's called the Euro. You get the point. And for dinner,
That was pretty big, but it was just full of veggies, so I can't really fault her on that. And she did seem like she was at work. Was she at work? Yeah, so she's at work, so she's doing stuff. She's on her feet, at least, in this clip. So, and if she's only going to have this breakfast and then dinner, can't really fault this because it has got quite a lot of veggies and stuff in it, so it's actually not that bad.
Philly's my favorite spot, and
Nachos with cheese, jalapenos, little salsa, and I imagine that's sour cream. It's actually not horrendous because of the volume of the toppings. It doesn't actually look that bad, to be honest. I mean, the nachos are nachos, like, they're nachos. But it's usually the toppings that send the calories through the roof, but this actually looks genuinely quite reasonable. So it's not actually that bad.
I love the nachos here. I'm not gonna lie, this is the reason I keep coming back. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing spectacular about these nachos, but I think the chips itself, it's always crispy, and that's what I love. Crispy or crunchy makes me weak. I also have some white cheddar mac and cheese. This was my first day back to eating since the stomach bug, and I was going for
It's her first day back eating after a stomach bug, so she's had spicy nachos after a massive breakfast roll thing. Then she's had, mac and cheese, so that's fats and carbs. And then she's had probably half a burger, so that's more carbs and more fat.
crazy. I had to taste my man's black bean burger because you already know I always gotta taste his food. For the main entree, drumroll, please, is the shrimp fajitas. I just feel like Chili's is an elevated Applebee's. The bougie.
That was a lot of, was it oil? It looks like oil on the shrimp, but shrimp are actually a really, really good source of protein for you. Like, they're really, really good, and they're quite low in calorie as well. It's got some like veggies and stuff, and this kind of saucy thing looks actually quite nice. Obviously, I don't know what it is, but it looks okay. It is just, I would imagine that the shrimp was cooked, in oil, because look how shiny everything is. So, a lot of carbs, a lot of fat, but this isn't actually horrendous, to be honest. It, depending on how they cooked it, could be worse, could be better. So, but it's restaurant food, which is also always going to be higher in calories than if you made it at home.
Chili's is an elevated Applebee's. The bougie version. And for dessert to share. That's all for today, folks. See you in the next one. Bye.
Oh, so their baby was with them as well, so they're sharing like that ice cream with the cookie with their child, and hopefully their child doesn't pick up the same sort of eating habits. And I know that sounds really mean, but it's so difficult to grow up obese, and it's just horrendous. And the baby did look a bit chunky as well, and not to judge the child, it's not his fault at all. And I hope they are teaching him healthy habits and how to cook at home and how to cook healthy meals. I think that is quite important as a parent, but I'm not going to talk too much about that.
Hi, guys.
It's our favourite Diamond. I love watching Diamond because her food kills me every single time. It's just crazy. So let's see what we're in for to in for today, and we're off to a great start by the looks of things.
So welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day. Remember, I'm fat and I don't eat healthy. Today for breakfast, I am having this cheese-flavored Maruchan ramen.
Cheese flavoured. That was just a bowl of melted cheese with some cursory ramen thrown in. That's crazy. Look at it. That's more cheese than ramen. And it's instant noodle, it's instant ramen. It's trash for you already before we even begin. And then we've just smothered it in cheese. This is just fat and empty carbs. Absolutely no good for you. Not at all the way that you should start your day. It's going to be very, very high in sodium as well, which is going to make you feel bloated, and it's going to make you retain water. And it's probably, if you eat a lot of sodium and you're not used to it, it can burn your tongue. But I imagine she's very much used to it. But yeah, this is an absolute garbage way of starting your morning.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but personally, I am a cheese lover.
Cheese.
I literally have a tattoo of a block of cheese in the shape of a heart. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Even though the ramen's already...
She said that she loves cheese. I wonder if she loves, like, American style cheese, like the plasticky stuff, or if it's real cheese, like brie and cheddars and, like, Wensleydale and all those kinds of cheeses that are, like, real, rather than just plastic melted cheese on noodles and bread, or deep fried. I wonder if she actually likes cheese, or if she likes whatever this is.
cheese flavored. I wanted to get a cheese pull, so I added in some shredded mozzarella cheese. Don't get me wrong, I love ramen, but I feel like I can only love ramen like once a day, so I don't know what made me...
Ramen again. So we've made a bad decision for breakfast, we're making another bad decision for lunch, but this one doesn't actually look as bad as the first one because it's got some like little bits of green in there and it's not completely drowning in cheese. So it's not as bad as the first one. It's still not good though.
want to have it for lunch too, but it's been cold with a capital K outside, so we're...
Also, as much as I dislike ramen and don't think it's good for you at all, if you are going to have ramen, and I understand that it is a staple for some like uni students and stuff, and it's cheap, you can zhuzh it up by adding boiled eggs, by adding a protein source like chicken, or if you fry up some shrimp or fish, salmon, tuna, whatever you like. You could even add some like chopped up steak or pork slices, anything. You could add that in, add some grated carrots or some really finely diced veggies, add that in to make it a proper meal, to make it more like a broth with noodles rather than just instant ramen on their own. If you've added all these different things, you've added a proper protein source, you've added the veggies for volume and stuff, then it's actually not that bad. It's still going to be incredibly high in sodium and stuff, but it doesn't have to be just sodium and empty carbs. It can be sodium and empty carbs plus some veggies and protein. So there are ways of improving it. You don't have to completely kick ramen out of your diet if you enjoy it, but also you don't just have to eat it on its own either. So yeah.
We're just gonna blame it on the weather. For lunch, I'm having this birria flavored ramen by the brand Tapatio, and I added in some onions, cilantro, lemon, and some shredded mozzarella cheese. If you're really listening to this video right now, do me a favor, go to the comments and let me know what your favorite kind of chocolate candy or your favorite kind of chocolate bar is.
I don't really eat chocolate like that, but Lindor chocolate is quite nice, so I'll probably say Lindor chocolate.
Personally, for me, I like any kind of Kinder chocolate, but if we're talking about a chocolate bar, my favorite would be a Mr. Good bar. I recently discovered this cat colony not too far from my house with about 25 to 30 cats, so whenever I got out of work, I went...
Very typical of Diamond to get takeout. She does it practically every single day, and Domino's just isn't the one. Domino's is just disgusting, but it just looks so greasy. It's got some veggies on it though, which is good. It's not a good source of veggies because they're fried. Or, well, they're not fried so much, but they are covered in oil, and they're sat on oil, and they're sat on fat, and they're sat on carbs. So they don't cancel each other out, but it isn't the worst choice of pizza in the world. Could be improved by making it at home.
Went to go feed them, and whenever I was done, I decided to pick up some dinner. Tonight for dinner, we are having pizza.
Look how expensive that is. Oh no, tax total, subtotal. Oh, so it's $7. So it's not awful, but it's 9 p.m. You should be going to bed soon, and yeah, you should be going to bed soon, And you don't need greasy pizza right before you go to sleep. That's disgusting. And it's going to sit so heavily in your stomach, and I imagine it will mess with your sleep, and your digestion will not be very good because you're going to be asleep. And yeah, just cook at home. If she hadn't eaten ramen twice in a day, she probably wouldn't feel the need to go out and eat takeout pizza for dinner. She could have had a proper breakfast with a proper lunch, and much like the lady beforehand, she probably wouldn't be so hungry to need a late night snack.
Pizza and chicken Alfredo from pizza.
So she had that big pizza, and she had the pasta as well, and bread, carbs on carbs on carbs, all of it beige.
Pizza Hut and some sweet tea from Cane's.
And those veggies on the pizza absolutely didn't cancel anything out. They may as well have not been there.
For the pizza, we decided to go with a stuffed crust veggie lovers pizza, and I added some jalapenos and some pineapples. And that is everything I had today. But like I always tell y'all, that's enough about me. What did you eat today? Let me know in the comments. Bye.
Remarkable. I do love Diamond's days of eating. They are terrible every single time. They're enough. Okay, so we're going to be doing a little bit of something different now. I'm going to show you what I actually ate today. So I'm talking from the 2nd of November, because that's when I'm filming this. And this is what I eat. So we're going to start with some coffee, and this is how I make my coffee. I have an enormous mug, and I love it. It's amazing. And I use this Nescafe original stuff because it dissolves really easily. And that's literally the only reason. But, so we add some coffee into the cup, and then we add some hot water. And boom, coffee is done. And that's it for me. That's how I like my coffee in the mornings. And then this was my lunch, because I had this at like 1:45. And it was lots of broccoli and sweet corn with some rice over here, a tin of tuna, and a diced onion, well, half a diced onion with 2 teaspoons of light soy sauce, just mixed up and put on the top. And so that was lunch. It was a huge bowl, as you can see, and it filled me up for 6 hours. And it took me 2 goes at it to eat it. So I started it at 1:45, then I finished it at like 3:30, then I ate dinner like 6:30 or something. And my dinner was this veggie spiced lentil soup, and it was really good. And that was all I ate that day, or today. See? Boom. And that was my day of eating. It actually wasn't that good, to be fair. It could have been much worse, because I didn't have any fruits, but I wasn't very hungry, and that's what I had, because lunch filled me up. So yeah, that's all. And not nearly as entertaining as the others, unfortunately, but yeah, that's it. So let me know down in the comments how you found this video, if you agreed with how they're eating. What did you think about any one in particular? What did you think about my days of eating? Do you find this kind of stuff interesting? Should I do this sort of thing again? And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. And bye, guys.